In the first actual paycheck that I got, I had made more on that hourly than I ever made on my other jobs in my 2 weeks. So when I decided this is it and I became a lead, I started seeing the paychecks come through, and it's a whole nother experience to see that kind of money come through. I do make more money than some of the people that I know who do have degrees and went through that time. And I am very grateful for that, being here. So when I came into the group interview, on the board there was actually a message written on there. It just basically was from Leland saying that in turn, if you treat your employees right, they'll treat your customers right, which will treat your business right. So that kind of spoke to me right away. It was like, I kind of felt like, okay, at least I can come here knowing that the owner's gonna take care of us. I went into college, tried it out, took the GE courses, didn't like it, wasn't for me, so I got a job at Target after I dropped out. I started off as a cashier, and then after about 6 months, I kind of felt claustrophobic up in the front. I wanted to move around. I saw everyone else was kind of moving throughout the store, so I just asked to switch different departments every chance that I could. So I even did carts, janitorial work, the floor, and then eventually moved to the position where I was working with James's wife. So I kept asking her about the company she kept talking about, because she would come into work and it would be after the summer kickoff party, telling me that, you know, there's prizes that they've won. And so I just decided to ask her one of those days, like, are they hiring? She said, yeah, they are, but you should call in soon because I think they're having interviews going on. So I called in, and she told me that there's group interviews, and right away I got turned off by that idea because I thought the idea of a group interview was not for me. So that kind of deterred me from coming in. After being there for a couple more years, I decided, you know what, let me try again. There was a bunch of other people there who were a little older than me, like in their 40s, 50s, that were retiring through Target, and I kind of didn't want to see myself go down that route. That's when I decided that, you know, I needed a career change, because I had kind of been brewing the idea of, you know, making that phone call. And my girlfriend was the one who encouraged me to call. She kind of pushed me to make sure that I could be a little bit happier with something else. When I went, it was different. It was something that I didn't expect. Because I went in, we all were in a room, stood up, talked about each other, who we are, where we're from. And after about 20, 30 minutes, they decided to call some names. And the first 3 names that got called, mine was one of the first 3 names. So we went into another room, and they right away were like, yeah, you guys are on to the next interview. And when I went to look at where to apply, it was a choice between install and service. And in my mind, I figured service, I would be more like sales, but I would still learn how to fix things, which is nice. But then install, I figured I can just work with my hands, and I'm pretty good with working with my hands. And then maybe later on decide to go to service if I ever wanted to. In 2014, I became an install apprentice. And by 2016, I was an equipment lead. And by 2017, I decided to be a duct lead. So in the first year, I ended up making around 30,000. And then I kept telling myself, you know, maybe next year I'll try to double it. And next year I worked harder, worked a lot more. I became an apprentice, started getting some percentages. And I actually did double it. I doubled that. And then I told myself, okay, this is the cap for apprentices. Maybe work my way towards a lead, and we can start seeing what kind of real money I can be making. And when I decided this is it and I became a lead, I started seeing the paychecks come through, and it's a whole nother experience to see that kind of money come through. It's something that you always wish for or always strive for, and you see, like, maybe I have to get a degree to get this kind of money, and here I am making this. So the last year that I had stopped tracking it, I actually pushed myself more towards hitting almost 100,000. Yeah, working at Service Champions, I was able to afford a lot of things that I couldn't afford before. My last job, I was waiting for a paycheck to come through, and I would have to stretch out my money pretty far. I get my paycheck, spend it all on bills, and have $10 to buy food and gas for the next 2 weeks. So being here, I'm very blessed with what we make, because I can decide maybe we can go do something, or maybe I can strive to buy something that I've been looking at. So I had talked to my girlfriend about everything that we wanted to do, and we wanted to go places, and so what do you think about getting a place? And oh, let's do that. Like, okay, well, I kind of want to propose too, but so do you want a ring or do you want a house? And she thought it over for probably about a week, and then came back to me and said, you know what, let's try to get the house. So being here at Service Champions, it's allowed me to look ahead towards the future and always wonder what's the next step. I can always decide we can go here, we can do this. Maybe we decide we want to do something different. But when I was working at another company, I felt like I was stuck at just a dead-end job. Nothing was going my way, and I kind of felt capped off. At least here, when I'm at Service Champions, I know that I can strive for whatever I want to strive for, and I can work hard towards it.